This happy little guy is Chianti Rose. It's a potato leaf kind of a tomato, and so far it has lots of pretty blossoms. I can see where it's dropped a few blossoms. I suspect because it's so cold and wet out, but new for me this year, so we'll see what happens with that one. Happy little blossoms. This one is actually a persimmon, and I wish it was taller. Makes the most delicious persimmon colored tomatoes I have ever tasted. Make that the most delicious tomatoes. It has this habit, can you see that? It has a habit of letting its leaves curl down and back to the ground, and when they do that, that's where they'll catch disease. This is my Brandywine. Got a late start with that one. It does have a blossom though. An E-friend on the Square Foot Gardening Forum has gorgeous tomatoes on his already. This monster, I can't even get this whole thing in the picture. This monster is an oxheart type. I trimmed it wrong once, and it split, and it's got two main vines, so I'm just letting it grow that way. See, what have I got to lose in the Pacific Northwest? I may or may not get tomatoes anyway. No fruit on it yet either, but it's an 85-day tomato. This first graceful little guy is a Momotaro. I guess that's how it's pronounced. They were developed in Japan and apparently are a favorite in Japan. I think the tag says they take 70 days to make tomatoes, but can you see that down there? Whoop, too close. There's a blossom. There's a blossom. Just fell right off. Don't know if those will stick or not. Last year was not a good tomato year. Last year I got a beautiful plant, but I'm fairly certain most of the blossoms fell off, and it never got warm last year. So, we shall see. This one is called Black Plum Paste, and it's already making little tomatoes. They don't look very appetizing, but they always make tomatoes. Lots of tomatoes. And I have seed is why I have black plum. I'm not that crazy about this tomato. This is a gold medal. I was seduced by a picture in a seed catalog. It has, whoop, look at there. It was ready to come off. Just knocked off the one blossom it has, which is probably okay because look how little it is. I wonder if it's supposed to be that little. Then one called Grandma's Pick. I think I mislabeled it Chianti Rose or persimmon maybe even, because there's that. Whoop. Where'd it go? Oh no! Oh, there. Aha! I mislabeled it in the pictures as a persimmon. I'm pretty sure that's what I labeled it. This little row of tomatoes here are called Beaver Lodge Plum. They were apparently developed in Canada. I think they're only supposed to take like 50 to 55 days, and they are making some nice plum fruit. But just like everything else, tomatoes need sun, even if it's only 55 days of warm sun. Don't think I've had it yet. Look how nice and short they are though. Tiny little guys. I've been checking on the internet. I've been so concerned about all these curly leaves. The general consensus for curly leaves and purple leaves is that it's just been too cold in the Pacific Northwest for tomatoes. That one is a legend. Those are silts. This pretty little tomato is called silvery fir tree. It's a Russian heirloom. It is supposed to only take 58 days to make ripe fruit, but of course in the Pacific Northwest it's going to take a lot longer than that. You can almost double the time. You can look at the foliage is a lot finer than most tomato leaf foliage. Flat, oval fruit. Should get to be 2 to 3 inches across when it's completely ripe. The catalog says it is a fiery red. This is open pollinated, so the seeds can be saved. You can see though, look at this. These sad looking, look at these sad looking little leaves. We had such a nice April and May, and then we ended up with a really cold, wet June, and it was the kind of wet that the soil mix. A lot of my soils ended up really dry, but it was so wet out and so drizzly I didn't realize how dry they had gotten, and just about all of my tomatoes are suffering as a result. There are 2 other silvery fir trees. I gave quite a few of them away, but having soil blocks to grow things in, I got a little carried away, I think. Thought I'd take another picture of my Ranger tomato now that the sun's come out, and you can have a look at those 3 babies I've got so far. This was the very first one to make a tomato for me this year. Ranger takes 85 to 90 days, but it's among the many that I'm experimenting with this year. I decided to go with some longer season tomatoes because most of them end up ripening on the sideboard anyway, and the longer the season is, the nicer the tomato is once it does finally ripen up. And then there's that Golden Sands. There's an overview of the tomatoes in the square foot garden. Artichokes, green beans, French fillet green beans, all my little bush green beans. One little Brussels sprout for Thanksgiving. Time to make more of those. And gotta stop here on the way by. Yum. There's my strawberries. There's more. Yay! And my chamomile tea. Gotta get rid of this pit. Apples. Alright, there's a tomato. That one is a Silts. And that one is a Silts. That's that gold nugget that is covered with tomatoes that are just as green as can be. And then Legend, that's not doing well in the tomato cage. A silvery fir tree that has that those fine, fine leaves and makes tomatoes. The yellow sand, whatever that word is. The ranger. And then there's a few odd little ones. There's a persimmon. Sorry about swinging it around so far. Look who just got a haircut. And a silvery fir tree over there. And then the rest are in front of what will be a What are you doing? The rest of the legends and silts. Big tomatoes. My dogs are jealous that they're not getting tomatoes now. Don't you dare run over the top of that, you little goober. You did! You ran right over the top.
You had to turn. Goober.
That's all. Thanks for watching. Get out and get dirty.